Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back to Conan Exiles. Now, I've just teleported myself down here because there was a person who commented on a video that I did, not the last one you guys would have seen, but the one before, which was where I was comparing the different gods. And he took spikes. Okay? He took umbrage with the way that I had apparently focused too much on result rather than process. And whilst I can appreciate where he's coming from, there's a couple of issues that I want to address with this, and then actually address the main concern that he was bringing up, which was around the Ymir arrows specifically. He mentioned the Glacier Crack Axe, but we'll get onto that as we go anyway. And the main issue he felt was that taking a look purely at the results, even though this is a survival game where farming is a given, where the kind of scaling with different biomes and different parts of the environment should again be kind of a given, considering that different resources come from different places. In spite of those two things, and the fact that the game is about problem solving, so that everyone's going to have their different solutions to different problems. My solution to the idea of a defensible base has been to build it out in water for the most part, so far anyway, and yet in other people's cases it is curtain wall upon curtain wall upon curtain wall, and building up the sides of cliffs and whatever else. We've all approached this game with different elements of problem solving, and so we're all having a slightly different experience, and so the gathering part of that is also going to be a different part of the experience, because we're each going to come up with different ways that feel better to us to get things. And so impatience isn't really a thing to fall back on and complain about. But he felt that, or I assume it was a he, they felt that ultimately it wasn't good enough. And the biggest issue, the biggest disparity was that even though the Ymir stuff is better and the resources for it come from what is essentially a higher level area within the game, me ignoring the process and purely focusing on the result wasn't enough. And as a result, I figured, do you know what? Fine. I mean, the fact that the experience will differ, fair enough. The fact that the other bits and pieces and the only thing that we can really kind of compare by is the end result, also fair enough. But then the various other bits and pieces that we're looking at in regards to, well, yeah, the issues surrounding the balance of the game isn't finalized anyway. They're continuing to mess stuff around. But most importantly, the kind of elements of going out into the world, getting materials and stuff like that, very much part of this kind of game. But anyway, that aside, and in spite of the fact that I actually said that Mitra was the one that I found most beneficial anyway, so there's that too. But in spite of all of that, I felt we'd come back to the first base I ever built. We would build ourselves. I've not changed my recipes at all, as you can see. We will build ourselves a beginning altar of Ymir down here, as you would if you were starting the game with, I believe I've still got crafting tools and things kicking around here somewhere. Oh, well, we'll take a sword, and we're overheating at the moment, so we'll snatch this light armor as well. We'll take the wooden shield too. But you guys, I've not really been back here. Apparently, though, now I've got some of my folks back, so that's a plus side, I suppose. But you guys, the last time I was down here, as you can see from those materials there. Okay, so what do we need? We need... What do we need? We need stone, wood, and twine. Twine we can grab in a minute, but stone and wood, well, we needed, what was it, 360? Yeah, we've got enough stone. We've we've got, I think that's enough wood between those two. That should be enough for the plant fibers, I think. So, you know, we've got enough gathered here already. So let's, yeah, we can make 33. So let's do 10, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we got those. And then we got the rest of this stuff here. So let's craft us up one of those. Okay, so we got one of those, and we should probably just quickly swap out to that, and then stick these down on our bar here. I've just realised that it doesn't matter. Okay, well actually let's stick these back in here as well for the time being. So we're going to build ourselves this altar down here. As we would if we were a new player. Right, so that's... Okay, that's bigger than I thought it would be, but... There we go. Right, so now what do we need? What do we need for... Because as with other stuff, the ice shards that you need to get to make the arrows, you need the hatchet for. The same way that human hearts for the potions and things, the anti-venom, you need the other stuff, the dagger for, the setite dagger for, and so on and so forth. In this case, we need the Hoarfrost hatchet, which is 10 iron and a branch. Well, got a branch. In fact, how many arrows? Does it tell us how many arrows we get per? Ice shard arrows 0. Okay, that's helpful. But 10 and 10. If that's for 1 arrow, then fair enough. Then absolutely fair enough. If that's for 10 arrows, then that's a 1-for-1 split. So then it just depends on kind of how regular ice shards are. And he was saying, the individual who commented, again, if you want to see the comment, go and take a look at that video. I'll leave a link in the description. Right, did we have any iron ingots? Let's see. Okay, so we got 37 here. We need to split that. 15. We'll take the 18. That's fine. Okay, so let's trundle back down here, and because it's a hatchet, we're going to be hacking up trees and stuff. So we've got trees here. We can see if they do come from down this far south. I don't think they will. In which case it becomes again a point of going, yeah, you've got to be further north for stuff to go on. But okay, let's craft ourselves up this Hoarfrost hatchet here. Okay, so let's take that, stick it here. Let's leave that alone. Right. I mean, it's a very shiny axe. Let's wood, ice shard. So, okay, you can get ice shards down here as well, for some reason. So any tree. But not every tree. Okay, in which case, I have a feeling that the way that we're going to do this is... hold on, because there we picked up more ice shards than just one. We picked up a reasonable number, but let's stick this in here. So we need one more ice shard, because I want to see how many per thing. Because if it's 10, then fine. If it's 20, then great. So that's, hold on, we need branches as well. So let's pick up some branches and whatnot. Just stash those in here. Okay, so now we just need one more ice shard, and we can see how many we've got. And I realised that we are like on the server here. We're collecting at a what is it? Yeah, 3 times the normal rate. So however long it takes me to get enough ice shards here, divide by 3. Essentially. Or multiply by 3, sorry. Increase the amount of time that I am spending having to get ice shards by 3 times. There you go. We got some there, and we got some more. Okay, so I've spent, what, a couple of minutes at most so far for one stack. So let's see how many arrows this gives us. 10. So, okay, so a couple of minutes per. Right. Considering we can... No, let's leave those in here, actually. Considering that we can get ice shards from any tree, which seems odd to me, I'm going to go and I'm going to make 100. I'm going to get another 90 ice shards, which, granted, might take me a little while, but this also gives me an excuse to work out how to do a time-lapse with my editing software. So, oh god, there's a crocodile. Leave me alone, crocodile. There you go, dead crocodile. Okay, but we're gonna... Is anyone else coming for me? No, okay. But we're gonna get another 90 shards. And I'll time lapse as of now. Going. It's all yours. It's actually gonna take. We're not gonna deforest the entire area. It's gonna be fine. Let's see. It really was fine. All right. Okay, and that's it. We're done. We've got more than 90 and enough wood to keep me flush on wood for a long while. But okay, so I'll quickly just flash up on the screen now how long that just took me, and then, you know, multiply that by 3 to tell you how long in theory that would take for the average person working with a 1-to-1 resource ratio instead of the like 1 strike to 3 that I've got on this setup. And yeah, so I'll just quickly flash those up at some point somewhere around the screen here. Thank you, Future Seb, for doing that. And now let's take a look. So we've now just, oh yeah, let's toss those in here. And so we've got more than enough ice shards. And then all we need is branches, and branches are everywhere. Like they're hardly the most difficult things to pick up and or find. In which case, no, I don't want plant fiber as well. I'll take the plant fibers. Why not? And so it's like we've got that long for the ice shards, which is the thing that was apparently causing the most grief, from what I understood from the comment left. And so again, I'm picking up 3 where everyone else would be picking up 1. But as said, branches are everywhere. You can at times you can find more branches than anything else apart from maybe plant fiber. Like I tend to use an awful lot of branches for things like fuel just because they're so abundant. So, you know, we've got what? We've got 66, 69. Should we? Yeah, here we go. Some more here. Like the the thing that stands out to me about the comment is that the process in this game, as said, I'm not seeing any difficulty here. My experience of the process is that when this game was first put on early access, the grind, the amount of materials that you needed, there we go, we're done, was colossal. So again, quickly, I'll flash up how long that took me, and then how long it would take the average person in theory. Am I being chased? I am being chased. Bag. Nope, there you go. But yeah, in theory, how long it would take the average person. I'll flash those up on the screen at some point whilst I'm talking here. But, so as a result though, for 100 arrows, there we go, let's just slap those in here, and those two, and then just make, yeah, well, we can craft all of them, so let's go. And then it's just the crafting time. And so, and my axe, hit down here, Hoarfrost axe, can be repaired. I assume it just needs iron for that. So, you know, that's not a difficulty. I mean, it requires more than stone and branches like some of the other kind of god tier items, or the not god tier items, but god shrine items. But the thing that stands out to me is that for this, in theory, we're going, if you haven't taken it at the beginning of the game, you're going to have to have gone all the way north to go and have a chat with someone to tell you how to worship Ymir. So we made 110 Ice Shard arrows just arguably pretty simply. You know, the Hoarfrost axe letting us gain it from trees in the burning sun when we are still actually overheating apparently for some reason. We are extremely hot. You know, and I think that might actually be a bug from teleporting down here, but that's beside the point. It's like the other complaint that was made was about the glacier crack axe, but it's like these are all fairly straightforward amounts. The main issue again was the ice shards, and if you're not into farming for stuff, if you're not into gathering, then there might be something in this game for you in the future, because there's been mention of farming systems and of thralls helping you out and stuff like that with the settlement system, as when if it comes about. But like this is the game. Until they add more story, until they add more directive challenges, and the part of the suggestion made was that these arrows you would get through the whole stack, killing off a base, like a group of enemies or something, a thrall camp or an enemy camp of some description. It's like, then diversify your weapons, use the arrows to approach, and then like there are more than enough weapons in the game. As I've said, I'm not a big fan of arrows anyway. I much prefer javelins, and I should really and truly have been using those Yogg javelins, but because they were marked as a spear, I thought they were genuinely like a pike spear, a two-handed weapon. And so it's like, yeah, we've got some stuff that needs clearing up in the game in regards to, I don't know, clarity around stuff. They're still balancing out costs. They're still putting things together in terms of different feats and recipes. As they said, we're going to be getting an artist, as they said in the last dev stream, which I addressed and kind of chatted about in my last video. They've mentioned that we'll get an artisan bench for things like pillows and beds and whatever else, pots, stuff like that. But again, this is the game. Like it's consider this a very adult version of Minecraft in a way. Yeah, that's what triggered all of these survival games coming out, was Minecraft in the long run. Like before that, you had survival horror, which was mostly running away from things, not building defenses, not stuff like that. And yet Minecraft came out, and then you had things like Ark take over from it. Games like Subnautica, which I, as you've seen on the channel, I'm very fond of. when it's all farming. Like in comparison to Subnautica, where I was farming on screen most of the time, showing you guys what I was doing as an excuse to explore whilst also gathering stuff. Here, especially early on, and even in some cases now for the big bases that I'm building, it's either been a case of I'll farm off screen, as I did with this base, as I did with the base level of the tower, or with all manner of other things that I've done in the exiled lands especially. But especially for more recently, where I've had an awful lot on my plate, I've been traveling around an awful lot more than I have been otherwise since I've been making this channel, going to see my girlfriend and whatever else. And then also I've had some family troubles recently that have been quite severe, which have drawn my time away from some of the stuff that I've been doing here. It's still ended up with me going, well, right, yeah, I'm using the admin panel because the results are what matter. And I realise that this is me, again, from my coaching stuff, this is me as a D-type personality. I'm very results focused, and this other individual seems to be much more focused on the kind of C area of personality, where they're focused on the process because the process is the part that matters to them in regards to like where the difficulty lies, yeah, where the comparison should be. And I get the argument, I do, yeah, for people who want instant gratification, for people who feel that costs are kind of too high or too low, great, make your voice heard, have Funcom, give Funcom your feedback in some way. But overall, with the way that these particular items are, like as said, I flashed up the times. The combination time is this. Future Seb, please, on the screen. Yeah, and so as a result, for the most part, that's not taken us all that long. Because if you're attacking an enemy base, if you're doing that kind of thing, you've got forethought, planning, yeah? And if that's what you're doing, if that's where the thought process is, then you're going to be able to take your time, develop what you need, and then go. Yeah, that's the point, and if you're not, then perhaps your approach to it needs readdressing, your plan needs changing, the way you are solving the problem needs adapting. This is a game where you need to be effective, as is the case with most survival games. It's not about always making something pretty, it's not always about making something that's easy or just what you want. It's not a third-person fantasy action game. It's a third-person fantasy or third-person/first-person fantasy survival game with a strong focus on survival. Considering that now with the temperature system, we're having to more consciously monitor our food and water. With the climbing system, we have another drain on our stamina, which is something that we need to manage, especially for people who aren't as focused on combat, haven't thrown all of their points into things like stamina and strength, paying attention to your stamina and what you're wearing and how it's all affecting it. That's all stuff to take into account. And so, as a result, we've got that as a game. And I'm personally very much enjoying it, which is why I've been sat here waiting for dev streams, why I want more information, why I've been going, right, I'm going to build all these purge-proof bases. And then when the purge happens, we're going to see which ones survive. Like, I'm not building them for the sake of enjoying the process. Some of the building elements of it have been quite tedious to me. But the result is going to be awesome, isn't it? I get to test things out. I get to find out. I get to watch an enemy army attack my base and I get to see if I've done well or not. Yeah, that's the result I'm going for. And in regards to direct comparisons between pieces of equipment, the process can be different for each person. My process, very easy, very straightforward. I came down here and I was like, right, well, I've got stuff that I would have at the beginning of the game. All of this is tier 1 materials that I gathered and built. You guys watched me gather and build in the first few videos that I did. And then on top of that, I had a fair, this is a fairly reasonable amount of material to require. It's still like tier 1 materials that you can get hold of, just wood and stone and plant fiber. And then as soon as you've got the axe, which is iron, which again, for a little while there, I couldn't find iron. I'll admit that. But it's up there. That's it. You walk up that hill and you get iron, basically. And so as a result, like, the iron isn't all that hard to get either. And especially iron bars, because even if you don't have a smelter and whatever else, loot some camps. The loot tables have been changed up. The stuff that you find in chests has been changed up. And then you just come back, build this, and again, as soon as you get this axe, the proper utensil for getting hold of this specific god resource or religious resource, you're laughing. It might take a little while, but that's the game. So, I stand by the conclusions that I made last time, where Mitra is, I would say, the best one to kick off with, for the simple reason that it allows you extra access under one, essentially under one line of recipes, which cost relatively speaking, very little compared to if you take Mitra as your first god when entering the game, creating a new character. The survivability angle, the access to refreshments and stuff like that, or the statues of refreshment, and ambrosia as well as a healing resource, all really useful, all really great. But again, this still didn't take that long, and I was able to assault trees here where they're in abundance, and I was fine. Like, I didn't need to deforest swathes of land or anything like that. And so if I, let's say, again, increase it, triple the time, then that just means that more of those trees over there are gone. 3 times as many trees gone, that just means that maybe some more of that bank over there has been depleted until it respawns. So, I don't see there being that much of a fuss about it. A 1-to-1 ratio, building in stacks of 10, that's all kind of straightforward and fine by me. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm in the minority, and it's just that I really just don't mind that part of this game. But go and take a look at the other video, go and take a look at what I said there, where I even say, at the time I assumed that we would have to go all the way north to get the Ice Shards, but apparently you can get them right here from any tree, which makes, again, it on a par with an awful lot of the others, if not actually easier, because trees don't fight back. If you're plucking out human hearts or having to cut human flesh into pieces, that potentially puts you at much more risk than attacking a tree. But either way, guys, I'd love to know what you guys think. Also, is there anything else that you guys want me to look into? Again, I understand the complaints and the issues that some people have, but again, in this case, I feel like it's a bit of arguing and complaining for no reason. Just because of what you want from the game, and it not being that kind of game necessarily. You can make it that kind of game, as demonstrated. You can just mess around with your server settings in your single player game, and if you're signing up to a server, especially an official server, look for one of the fast ones that actually provide more quicker. So it's not like there aren't options for you to get where you want and what you want. But I feel the comparison that I made was sound, because the comparison on the results, the concrete results, not the subjective experience of getting from point A to point B, but the actual items, tangible things that you get, was sound and reasonable. So, but either way, let me know your thoughts. But otherwise, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you found this at all entertaining or useful or interesting, then please tune in next time, and I'll see you later. Take care.